the Nebraska Cornsuckers.
Now you're probably wondering how after playing a top 10 Michigan team close in Lincoln last week, could we possibly find a way to lose to a Minnesota Golden Gophers team that we're supposed to beat? Unfortunately, the answer to that question is yes.
The first quarter.
Nebraska starts the game with the ball, but to nobody's surprise, the offense stalls after a 3-and-out after Adrian Martinez overthrows Oliver Martin on a 3rd down and 11. And on Minnesota's ensuing possession, they managed to go 14 plays, 61 yards for a passing touchdown from Kramer to make it a 7-0 game. On Nebraska's ensuing possession, they managed to go 6 plays, 43 yards down the field in 2 minutes and 34 seconds, which showcases the offense's ability at times to be able to move the ball. However, Adrian Martinez is sacked on 3rd down after the O-line completely misses several blocks and results in a Connor Culp field goal attempt. And by the way, that field goal attempt that Culp was able to capitalize on was 50 yards. Surprising.
The second quarter.
Minnesota then responds with a 7-play, 79-yard drive of their own, making it a 14-3 game after a passing touchdown from Tanner Morgan. On the ensuing Nebraska possession, they go 3-and-out again and give the ball right back to Minnesota, who then misses a 50-yard field goal of their own. If you were to tell me before the game that Connor Culp would make a 50-yarder and the opposing team's kicker was unable to make the same field goal from the same distance, I would have disagreed with you, but I was wrong. Nebraska on the next possession capitalizes off that missed field goal and goes 9 plays for 68 yards after a Amir Johnson rush. However, Connor Culp then, of course, misses the extra point, making it a 14-9 game. On the very next Minnesota possession, they managed to go 8 plays, 75 yards, to make it a 21-9 game after a passing touchdown from Morgan. On the next possession, Nebraska is forced to punt. However, Minnesota decides to kneel the ball, obviously, to let time expire in the half.
The third quarter.
On the first play of the half for Minnesota, they end up throwing an interception when the defense for Nebraska needs it most, and Cam Taylor-Britt comes away with the interception. On the very next drive, however, Nebraska goes 3-and-out. This is going to be a very common theme for the entire game, giving it back to Minnesota, who then throws another interception, surprise, after Deontay Williams capitalizes off of an interception. Nebraska in their offense then finally wakes up and gets a 3-play, 45-yard drive after Austin Allen gets a 30-yard pass, which leads to a Ramir Johnson rushing touchdown to make the score 21-16. On Minnesota's next possession, they go 3-and-out, and they end up punting the ball to Nebraska, which then leads to an 8-play, 46-yard drive for Nebraska. However, on 3rd and goal, Nebraska decides to run the ball with Martinez. However, they get stopped at about the 3 or 2 inch yard line. I don't remember what the announcer said, but basically it was within the 1 yard line. So on 4th and goal, they decide, hey, we're going to line up in shotgun formation, baby. And so, as you can probably imagine, the play doesn't work. In fact, Jacques Yant ends up running the ball up the middle and gets tackled for, I believe, a loss. But anyways, it turns the ball over, gives it back right to Minnesota. I guess they did not have quarterback sneak in the playbook or something. I'm not really too sure. But anyways, on the ensuing possession, Nebraska gets another key stop against Minnesota's offense, and so they punt the ball to give it back to Nebraska.
The fourth quarter.
Nebraska then goes 5 plays, 46 yards, and ends up missing a, listen carefully, 27-yard field goal attempt. How in the love of God do you miss a 27-yard field goal, miss an extra point, but you're able to kick a 50-yard field goal? I'll never understand Connor Culp. God bless him. On the next possession, Minnesota goes 5 plays, 21 yards, and ends up punting, giving it back to Nebraska. However, on that ensuing possession, Nebraska goes 12 plays, 50 yards, and on the last 2 downs, on 3rd down and 4th down, Martinez gets both of his passes batted down. And so the very next possession for Minnesota is once again another 3 and out. Good job by the defense, and they end up giving the ball back to Nebraska. Nebraska has the ball at the 11. However, in typical Nebraska fashion, Martinez scrambles running backwards into his own end zone, throwing it out of bounds in the tackle box, and ends up with an intentional grounding call after the ball was snapped from the 11-yard line. Let that sink in. On the ensuing Minnesota possession, they go 5 plays for 72 yards and end up getting a touchdown after a broken tackle for a 56-yard Bryce Williams rushing touchdown. On the next possession, Nebraska responds. However, there's only about 2.5 minutes, I believe, when they start the drive. They go 6 plays, 75 yards in 1 minute after an Austin Allen touchdown on a fade route. The score is 23-30. Now, since there was only about a minute left in the game, Nebraska decided to go for an onside kick. And unfortunately for Connor Culp, not only does he miss extra points and field goals, but he also misses the onside kicks. Rough. Minnesota is then able to run out the rest of the time to conclude the game. 23-30, Minnesota. Average Reddit user post-game rant. The offense. I credit Reddit for this joke that pretty much sums up the offensive unit on this team. The offense sometimes is similar to gay porn. It can be pretty hard to watch at times, at least for me. The unfortunate thing is that Nebraska is a highly talented offensive team that shows an ability to actually move the ball down the field in a hurry. However, once they reach the end zone or enter clutch time situations, the offense flops in an uncanny fashion. Martinez gets most of the blame due to his mistakes or turnovers at the worst possible times, yes, evidenced by his safety with 5 minutes left to go in the 4th. However, most of us can also tell that he's pressured on pretty much every other play due to an experienced and young O-line. On the bright side, Austin Allen and Ramir Johnson seem to be both reliable and consistent. Just please, for the love of God, don't line up in shotgun formation on 4th and 3 inches. Hell, my penis isn't even 3 inches.
The defense.
If the offense is comparable to gay porn, then the defense is comparable to a 10 out of 10 supermodel. Well, almost. In the first half, the defense allowed Tanner Morgan to pretty much pass all over them. In the second half, however, the defense seemed to correct their mistakes, but their run defense seemed to fade a little bit, especially in the 4th quarter. But all in all, I don't think any of us really put much of the blame on the defense, considering the offensive woes and the special teams errors. Throw the damn bones.
The special teams.
The special teams is very special, but not in a good way. After starting the game off with a successful 50-yard field goal, Connor Culp manages to somehow miss an extra point and a 27-yard field goal. I seriously can't make this stuff up, guys. Nebraska fans then brought up the previous hip flexor injury that Culp suffered in the offseason. However, if that's the case, then why are we sending an injured kicker on the field in the first place? I get that maybe our backups just aren't comparable, but I assume one of them can make an extra point at least.
Concluding thoughts and more bad jokes.
At the end of the day, I make fun of this team and their ability to lose close games due to creative mistakes. After all, Frost is 5-17 in one-possession games while at Nebraska. However, I enjoy watching this team and hope they can eventually fix these crappy performances. The interesting part is that it's not just one part of the team that makes all the mistakes. Our losses result from a young offensive line, a poor special teams unit, and a quarterback that should probably be recruited to Afghanistan to overthrow the Taliban. Reddit to Reddit for that joke too. I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've seen progress in terms of talent and physicality. I also see an offense that can move the ball efficiently, but just can't score when in the opponent's 40-yard line. The defense is pretty self-explanatory, and Martinez is a good dual-threat quarterback that deserves a better O-line. I look forward to seeing what Nebraska can do the rest of the season, as after the bye week we have Purdue, Ohio State, Wisconsin, and Iowa left on our schedule. Oh dear God, where's my bottle of vodka when I need it? Also, fuck PJ Fleck and his bald head too.